Let's check and make sure we're good here. Alright, cool. Okay. I've made some changes to the art program I'm working on, and it's up on the website here. Um, so we've added the ability to add a well, we had the background image. We can do it from a file now as well. So if I wanted to add from a file, um, I don't know why I have the same thing with link reference. Sometimes you have to click it twice. Um, so that's another. So basically today, what I'm planning on doing is I don't really have anything today that I'm um, any like anything major that I'm trying to implement. Really, what I want to do is I want to add. The first thing I want to do is I want to add a list of instructions right here, so that if someone were to navigate to the website, they would actually know how to use the program. Because I think that's probably the most important thing at this point. Because it's getting pretty full featured now. Because we have this, right, and then and this works really well now. I've actually got it so that it's lined up with the border of the SVG, the canvas object, um, and you can get it. You can get a picture either by file upload or by linking a reference image, right? Um, and Now I've added the ability to say you make a shape, right? Something like say we're gonna like work on the stem here, right? Um, and say I wanted to copy the color from the reference image. I've made it so that if you press C, it'll copy the color of the canvas pixel that you're hovering over. So then we get that color, and we can do whatever we want with it, right? See if we wanted to get specifically one of the lighter shades of brown, we could zoom in here and find one. Make sure that we're hovered over it, right? Just copy around until we get like one of the lighter shades. So yeah. Um, or say I wanted to get this stem here, or not the stem, the little bulb at the end of the flower, right? Something like that. And even without moving it, I could go, hey, lower the transparency down and get the canvas. Or actually, like I didn't even necessarily have to do that because it's getting the, or well, no, because it's gonna check. It does work with actually, never mind, that's not gonna work because it works with other shapes as well. So it's gonna end up copying itself if I do that. Um, the color of itself. Oh, shit, I didn't mean to do that. Undo. So yeah, we could copy the color basically from the background there. Or, like I just said, like if I have another shape and I want to copy the color from here, for example, I select this shape and then press copy on this shape and we get it from that shape. And just to show that I'm not just getting it from the background, I'll move this over here and change this to a different color. So copy that and then copy back from here again. See if we get it from the shape. Um, so got so that is a pretty major functionality that I've implemented. The copy color. Um, so on top of that, the other thing we can do is another major implementation that I did was you can now animate. Or there's I've added a few types of animation like a flashing. So if you press F, then it flashes like this. Not like a blinking like cause you a seizure flash. It's like a sort of a glow, more like a glow in and out. I don't want to like um, create something that's going to cause people health problems. Um, but I guess I should probably put a warning somewhere or make that disableable for people who are photosensitive. Um, but oh, I probably should have warned before I started doing that actually. So yeah, sorry if you're for photosensitive. Turn the stream off for a second because I want to. There's a couple of these. Um, so yeah, the flash. It'll basically brighten and darken like that. Right. So the other one, I've got a hue shift, so it'll just cycle through the colors like that. And then you can't have both the flash and the hue shift on at the same time. I've found that doesn't work. You can only kind of have one at once. And then I've added this rotate as well, so you can rotate stuff. So I made like a couple of cool things with it, like check out this little vortex picture I made. Like you could do it with a whole bunch of shapes at once. So like the rotate's not only just for the shape itself, um, like um, so I probably want to do something to get rid of the reference image too if you want to do that. I haven't implemented that to remove it. With that shouldn't be hard though. That should be you just got to take it off and that like um, which I already have that implemented for just adding another one. Like when you add another one, it'll take off the old one, um, and that works. But what I haven't done is I haven't. Sorry, it's taken me a second to remember what keys because I just changed some of the key bindings out too also, which is why part of why I want to add. So the reason why I changed some of the key bindings actually is because I realized I don't want A as a key binding because when we encode our images, right? Like we want to encode this, and I click this and I want to go Control A to select all of it, right? Well, if I have A as a key binding, that's going to select everything on the page as well. And I started to realize there's a few things like that where certain things I don't want to have as a key binding because they might be used in other contexts, right? Like enter, for example. I was having a problem with enter as duplicate because I would have pressed a button down here and then I'll go back up here and then select things and then try to duplicate it and then it'll press the button again because it's the last thing you clicked on the document, right? Um, which I didn't want that to be an issue. So I changed the duplicate button to D, and I changed the select all button to S. Um, and I also found I did some testing on Opera, and I found that some of the key bindings were just not working on Opera for some reason. Um, so I changed those also. I changed like uh, the scale operations, the plus and minus, but weren't being registered in Opera. So I changed those to N and M. And same thing with the brightening and the lightening. I changed that to V and B. Um, so yeah, so those few things. Um, and yeah, so like we'll go through all the key bindings again in a second because I'm gonna go and I'm gonna write all the instructions down right here. I'm basically just gonna insert HTML elements above this like footer element here, which is drifted off to the left um, because because I've changed the positioning on this to absolute, and then I shifted this stuff all down, and um, it works out. This is not a bad place to have it. I don't think. I think it'll be good to have it right there. Um, but anyway, so you'll see if we have multiple things rotated. Um, say we want to shift the colors on this a little bit, right? And then I'll duplicate that and scale it down. I wonder if I want to do like scaling, like like something just to scale on the Y or just to scale on the X. Make like a hotkey for that. That could be cool. Um, anyway, so do that. Scale it in a bit. Do that. Select everything. And then rotate, for example. It all rotates relative to the center point of all the objects that you're rotating. So that ends up having a cool effect, especially when you do that, combine it with a Q shift at the same time. You've got some cool stuff going on, right? And it exports like that too. I haven't yet encoded that into the encoding. I'm thinking of how I can do that. I was thinking at first I was gonna do like, I was like, oh, I could just do like for the three different things, I could have it be 0 or 1 if it's on or if it's off, but that's gonna add 3 digits, right? To that, to the hex number, and that's gonna make it like way bigger. Um, when I thought about it for a second, I'm like, that's 3 bits. Like I could just make that um, the binary number that those 3 bits would represent. So right, like we'll just append another attribute, like in LBSB. So we'll do just like we did here, like C to separate the attributes. So we have D right now for opacity, but I'm thinking that we could just change that. So we don't have to have that be D. We could just have C to add another attribute, and then just have it be positional, like if it's there, or not even necessarily if it's there. If it's not there, we could just make it 0. Or no, actually, it should just be like no. That'd be better if we just did it like if it's there or not. Like if there's another attribute after um, after the fill, if there's a third attribute, then it's the opacity, right? But if we're going to add an animation, what we could do is we could just make we just like set the if it has like full opacity, just set the opacity to 1, like include it as an attribute, but then have the number representing the combination because there's three. Like I said, there's three animations here, so um, that's a number between um, 0 and 7, right? All three being set would be 7. The 1, 2, and the 4-bit set. like there's 7 combinations of animations that you could do, right? All zero, like none of them, and then any of the three, and then there's 2 combinations of two, and then there's the all three of them, right? And like you know that because the maximum binary number for 3 bits is 7, right? 1 bit set, 2 bit set, and the 4 bit set. So then we could just have that number on here after another attribute thing, and then that could tell us what animations we have set. So I might do that on stream today. Is add that to the encoding and the decoding, the animation bit. Um, and yeah, since that's a 1-digit number, if we had any more animations, then we'd have to use. Well, then we could just make it a hex bit, right? So we just make it a 0 through F bit. If we wanted to add one more type of animation, which would actually be perfect. So like, so I probably want to think of like one more different type of animation that we could do on here. So we can just make that like that last little bit be like a hex bit. Except that might make it a little bit weird when we try to split things by. Maybe it's better just to keep it at the 3. I can't really think of another one that I want to do right now anyway. Um, but yeah, so then like you just press it. There's a toggle, so you just press it again to turn it off. Right, and it just goes back to normal. Um, but like yeah, so like if you export it, it exports like that. You'll see, like I showed you on the. If you export SVG, like it's on the SVG image you exported. Um, I also made it so like say you export something and but then you like I want to load it back into I want to load it back into the the editor, right? But I don't have it anymore. I don't have the encoding. I didn't save it, right? Well, if you just go inspect, I put it in the SVG as well. So if you forget to save the encoding's also in the SVG. So you can grab it from inside the SVG um, and then upload it back into the editor that way. Um, which will make it easy, like when, like say we want to import the file back in. Like all I'll have to do is just read it as a text file and then pull out this ID and then do the decode on it. Like I won't have to do a whole different like uploading process for pulling it back in here. It'll be the same as what we've already done. Um, so yeah, so that's coming out cool, I think. Um, and I guess what I'll work on right now, like I said, I was gonna do. Oh, also delete now is Q instead of backspace, which having it as backspace probably wasn't a really good idea. Um, because like say like on the web version here, like you do something, you try to delete, like you click there, or I guess it doesn't really do that anymore. On old versions of browsers that used to like if you hit backspace, it would just take you back to the page that you were on last or whatever. Unless maybe I did maybe I did prevent default on that or something. But I don't know. Maybe that's not as much of a thing anymore as it used to be. But I took it into account as a consideration. Or if you were trying to, like, for example, for some reason, edit this string in here, right? You wouldn't want that to affect the picture. So that's another thing. Um, but yeah, everything else is pretty much the same. And again, well, we're about to go through the the instructions again here. So I'm going to do it on the local version. So I'm not going to worry about. So like the only thing that's different. So actually on the website, everything works really good. Like linking the reference image. Um, like you can pull from the reference image back here as well. The colors. I was pulling my hair out yesterday because if you link a reference image on here and then try to do that, I get um, this this operation is insecure error, which was really really driving me nuts. Which I don't know if actually it might be because so I looked into it and it said it was like a cross origin error. Um, so I'm thinking, like I hope it still works with other image sources on here. Um, Maybe the only reason it works here is because this image is literally hosted on this website. So I don't actually let me test this with a different type of image here. Test this with a different type of image. Um, say copy. Where's a good image here? An image, is that an image? Mozilla logo. Um, see. What do we want to look up? I don't know. Just take a picture. Copy image link. Is that a PNG or an SVG or not an SVG? A JPEG. Oh, this is not on. Here's the web version. And again, I don't know why. I don't know why sometimes you gotta do that twice. Ah, so you are still getting this. Okay. So I'm still getting this on here. Secure operation. So I gotta fix that as well. If that's something that I can easily fix. But again, um, so I tried something with that. I did, but I undid it for a second because I thought it was messing with um, the other the other type of upload, which I think it was. Where do we go? Canvas. not F12. Um, what we're looking for is canvas. Where did this? So let me turn this on for a sec. Or, well, okay. I can't just do it here. I've got to do it on the web. I got to test that on the web version, which I'm not going to do on stream because then I have to log in everything and show my the directory of my project on the server, and that all does not seem like a very good idea. So I'm just gonna work on I'm just gonna work on the local version here. Ugh. And we're just gonna work. We're just gonna work on a couple of bugs, or try to. Well, first we're gonna do the instructions, and then we're gonna try to work out a couple bugs, or at least identify them, and then kind of just play with it too. Kind of think of the best. I gotta do a little user experience, a little UX work on this. Try to figure out what exactly I want to implement next, and what sort of changes would make it more user friendly. What sort of things. Um, basically, I've just got to play with it and see um, what I want to do with it. Um, so so first things first, let's get the instructions here. So if I do a paragraph after the script here, that will show up in the same place that it did on the web, right? When I had that as a footer there, it'll show up just over here. Yeah, perfect. So I'm just gonna go ahead and then do our instructions here. And that might show up weird on mobile, but I'm not really concerned about that because this doesn't work on mobile anyway, because you don't have a keyboard on mobile. So this isn't a mobile app. That's just the way I'm setting it up, because I like the idea of having a whole keyboard of things that you can easily sort of um, do a whole lot of different things in quick succession, without having to go search around for buttons and stuff, and be able to do that it's sort of like a Blender style sort of um, quick editing via the keyboard, and trying to compromise that to make it work on mobile is just not going to be worth it, I don't think. Um, so so we're just going to keep this as a desktop, as a yeah, like a desktop web app. Or so let's say instructions. Let's say um, click click to another paragraph. Click to plot points. Press a key 0 through 9 to fill the points. Or to, not fill the points, but create a polygon from the points. Go here. Default colors are one black, two white, three pink, four red, and then I think five is orange. Is it five orange? Orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, purple. All right. And then we'll say right click to select a polygon. Selected polygons are highlighted yellow. All right. Once selected, polygons can be transformed in the following ways. Or transformed and recolored, I'll say. Right. That seems like a good way to put that. Period here. What we're gonna say is arrow keys to move selected. Arrow keys to, I'll just say arrow keys to move less than, greater than I can't. I have to escape character those. Less than, greater than, keys to less than, greater than keys to rotate and n and m keys to scale. And should I say delete here as well? Oh, I should say mirror x to mirror on x axis or I'll say x and y to mirror on x and y axis respectively. Alright. Let's see how this is looking so far in terms of like space here. Okay, so this is a little bit too long, and so is this one. Oops. And also, this is not the right escape character. Is it backtick on the HTML? Backtick? Backtick? No? What's the escape character for HTML to do that? Do I have to actually do the, I think I actually have to give it the, like, it's like the key code and then the percentage sign, right? Something like that. 60 and 62. No? How do you... Oh no, it's an amp. No? I have to do this? I think I was thinking of it. Like, that's an XML, right? The percentage thing. Okay, so here's the character code. But we do it ampersand pound something? Do I just do that in here? Just like that. Okay, there we go. But what do I gotta do? I wanna do like a space. Okay, that's good. I guess, could I just do that? Mirror on X and Y? I'll need to say axis respectively. That's fine. Well, I do need to do this though. Put that in a new line. There we go. Default character, default colors. Right click to select the polygon. Select the polygons are highlighted yellow. Once selected, polygons can be transformed, recolored, and hollow rays. Arrow keys to move. The less than greater than signs to rotate. And then M keys to scale X and Y to mirror on X and Y. I'll say Q to delete a polygon, D to duplicate a polygon. Or should I do the colors first? Oh, we're gonna do raise and lower layer too, and the transparency. So, raise and lower layer is still the brackets. I believe I didn't change that. Yes, that's still the same. Um, raise and lower layer with bracket keys. Um, and then transparency. Just transparency with O and P keys. Um, mm. Oh, select all. Right, I forgot about that. Select all with the S key. Actually, let me put that up here. Key selects. It's not gonna be enough space here, huh? S key selects, let's deselect all. That's not gonna, that's gonna run off into it, isn't it? It is. And also, if we do the width any bigger here, this is gonna be a problem, huh? Yeah, that's gonna go over into it too. So that's gonna be an issue, huh? How are we gonna fix that? What if we put it? What if we put this in a? Can we put this in a? What are one of those elements called? It's like the that gives you the little scroll bar thing. What's that thing called? Um, Scroll box. Div style. Height, width, border. Font. Okay. Overflow auto. So we could actually make the height and the width equal to the inverse of the what we did with the basically just where we're putting the what we put for the absolute value on the left for where how we position the canvas element and the SVG, right? So it's like actually just something like this. But we want to do the width. Take this out, and we'll have overflow auto. We don't need to change the font aside from maybe we do want to make it. We'll just say the font 16 pixels both ways. Um, so that's like a shade of gray, like a gray border. We want a gray border. We have a blue background. We have a blue background. What would go good with the blue? Maybe like some shade of red. Let's try that. So this is RGB, so we'll do like full red. Full red there. With height. You can have spaces here, and that's fine. Height with, so our height we'll make it that, how about we'll make it like the height of like the page divided by the screen divided by 2 or something. Or do we want to do that absolute? No, we don't want to scale it with a screen. We're gonna make it. We just need to make it as big as we need it for the to fit all the text into it. Which the text is a fixed size also. So we're gonna say, like, I don't know. Right now, this is like well, right now this is 1,000 pixels tall. So let's think, how much more do we need here? Like, let's set it at like 800 for now or something. We'll probably be good with that. Like height 800, 800, and our width. Oh, but here's the thing. We need to use. We need to use the stuff from our script here, the width and the height attribute, these things. Um, so if we're gonna do that, what we might want to do, well, we could still put this. It doesn't really matter that this is below the script. What we can do is we can put this. We can put this in our main. Just put it below that, right? So just take this. I'll say ID is instructions. Alright, I'll throw this. And then we're gonna want to take this out of paragraph elements, right? I did this. If we do overflow auto, then we don't even have to worry about separating things by paragraph. Uh, in fact, we wouldn't want to do that. We can take this. Let's see how this works. We're gonna take this, we're gonna go put this here inside of main, like right below this, which I can indent properly, because it's not currently indented properly. We can put this inside of main. Instructions. And then I just want to see, how does that look to begin with on here. We've got this, and it's got that border. I don't know how I feel about that border. The width, so that's what the thing I need to change. I need to make the width, so the width goes up to like here, or close to it. And I don't know how I feel about that border at the moment. How about, let's darken that. So F is really bright red, right? So then really light red, let's say like 2, right, would be really light. Where are you? There. That's a little too light that it looks black. So let's try like 4. And then it looks a little bit red now, not very much. 6. Alright, I kind of like that. That works. It's like a dark red deal there. And then we need to take all this stuff. So let's see if I throw it just with the paragraph elements included. How's that look? What does that end up looking like? Does that even work? It does work. That works pretty well, actually. So that's fine. That's cool. So we'll do that. But we want to make the width up to like about here. And we have, so we're going to take this style tag. We're going to take this out of here. And the way we're going to do this is we're actually going to we're going to set it inside of the code so that we can so once we have our width and our height, we can do this. Once we have our width and our height, we can just go d3.select by ID instructions dot attribute style is going to be this. Right, but we're going to make our width so we're going to go make this, that, we're going to go dot concat, we're going to give it a number, we're going to give it our are we making that a variable somewhere? No. We're just doing the math manually every time. I guess I could just make this a thing here, and then I don't have to use it again. Or I could just reuse it here. If I just go let call it let image position. Say image position is equal to this. And then we'll say image position here. take this and move it below that. So we don't have to do that anymore. We'll say image position. And then this. Right. Hopefully that works. Whoa. Oh. I see, I see. There we go. But we don't want to make it quite there. So we'll say minus 60. Alright, that looks good. I like that. That looks pretty good. I like that. So we're gonna keep going with that. Oh. And yeah, so S to select slash deselect all. So that's good. Press key 039 to create a polygon from PowerPoint's default colors. We have that. Right click to select a polygon. Select the polygons are highlighted yellow. S to select slash deselect all. Once selected, polygons can be transformed and recolored in the following ways. Arrow keys to move. The less than greater than to rotate, N and M keys to scale, X and Y to mirror on X and Y. Raise and lower layers with the bracket keys. Adjust transparency with the O and the P keys. Then we'll say that we need to do the coloring stuff, right? So we'll say so what we're gonna do here what we're gonna do is the hue, we could say adjust hue. Or I kind of want to put the copy color thing first, because like that's probably like the most valuable way to get let's say press C to copy the color your cursor is hovering over. from another shape or from a background reference image. To selected polygons. Makes sense, right? Press C to copy the color your cursor is hovering over from another shape or from a background reference image to selected polygons. Buttons to load a background reference image are from web link or from file. Are located below the what are we calling this? It's not just a canvas, it's like located at the bottom of the application. Say tilde key will adjust the hue of selected polygons V and B keys will adjust brightness and numpad plus minus adjusts saturation, here. Well, it's the same character code either way, so it doesn't matter. I tested it with the numpad, numlock on and off. I believe I did. I don't know, maybe we'll end up changing the key binding for that. Numpad that to fully saturate or desat. Adjust the hue of selected polygons. That will adjust the brightness. VMV. Numpad plus minus adjust saturation. Numpad asterisks period to fully saturate or desat. then, what are our other keys? Oh, I still haven't done remove. We need to do remove before we go, like, this far into, like, the color stuff. How about we do that here? Hue to remove. Okay. And then, so we have all the colors. I don't think there's anything else aside from the animation stuff, right? We did scale, right? Yeah, we did scale. So, we do, um, F key will toggle. We'll say animations. E to toggle flash. Let's rotate each toggles. Hue cycling. Oh. U to undo. Function R to redo last undo. So undo and redo. Um, let's see how much space is this taking up at this point. Okay, so we're almost at the limit of our thing here, so we might want to make that bigger. We might want to, especially since, like, if we end up making this wider, right? We go like 1400 here. Then we end up, yeah, now we're going outside of the box. So Like let's bring that down. So what, like right now it's at 800, so I'll bring it down to like bring down like 1400. Where are we at with the styling? It was right here, right? Yeah. Bring it to like 1400. Add another like 600 pixels there. We still got more instructions. Right? But by default, it's gonna look like this. So, oh shit. Huh. Okay. So we're also gonna want to bring that in further as well. Bringing in like another 100. There we go. And that should be fine for your vast majority of screen widths, right? If you had like a slightly smaller, like a slightly smaller screen, like I don't know, just try zooming in and reloading maybe. That still works, right? That doesn't work. But zoomed in, like you don't want. If the screen was 4 times smaller, you're almost looking at like a mobile device, right? If it was like half as small, like it still works reasonably okay. I should bring it up though, if I can bring it up. Right? I can bring that up. So it's like up here. How am I gonna do that? We're gonna go. We're gonna go position absolute. No, it didn't work. Position absolute. Top 0. There we go. Top 20. Excellent. Okay. Does that black text look weird over a... Well, we could put a background on this, right? Or let's just say div. Um, can we just go background? white. Background color. There we go. Do we want it like straight up white like that? Also, we probably want some padding on this, right? A little bit on the border. Like straight up lined up with the border there looks a little bit weird. So like padding, 5px. Alright. That looks pretty good. Background though, do we want it? I think we want that maybe like a little bit gray, right? Like maybe a little off-white or something. So background color like, say like, not FFF, but like EEE, for example. So that's a little bit off-white. DDD. Oops. Alright. And then decoration, underline. There we go. This still is like a little bit too wide, I think. That's 200. Okay. Okay, I like that. That works pretty good, I think. Alright. Make it bigger. It still is working. This is a little bit weird. But that's just because these are coming over. Okay, interesting. Okay. I mean, 200 is like half the width. And it still sort of works. Like if we had half the width, we'd be dealing with a really tiny screen here, right? It'd be pretty small. Like you'd have to have a pretty small screen. But if you had something like 150, if you were like a third smaller, Like that's like I could see people having a screen like that, you know. But it still works. It's good that way. Or if you had a bigger screen, or if you're zooming out so that you can like work with a higher resolution image or something, that also works. So right, or if you go like, or if you're just like if you're like making a higher resolution image, like width equals 2000 and height equals 2000. Whoa. No, that doesn't work. Why would that work here? Let's refresh that. Well, I mean, it works if you are zoomed out to the point where you could reasonably work on something like that to begin with. And then if you zoom in, oh, but am I getting the whole image here if I zoom in and I go down here? I thought I had that working. I thought I had that working. I don't think we're getting the whole image yet. It's getting like cut off. So I might want to do like an actual zoom function, like build it in, maybe. That's gonna be a little difficult though, because we're not just dealing with the canvas, we're dealing with the stuff on the SVG as well. Well, we'll basically just have to scale that up. As well as the canvas. Um, anyway. If you're zoomed in, if you're at like a regular zoom, and then you do that, you end up with that, which is not what we want. Isn't there like a resizable attribute that I can put on? Why is this thing moving over? Like why would that go over there? Well, it's because it's trying to fit the screen. It's because it's trying to fit the screen. I don't. Maybe I'm not gonna do it relative to the screen width. Ultimately, we might just have it like a. We might just make everything absolute coordinates. So that way, if you want to resize the image and then just resize your screen, because like I want you to be able to do that, to just be able to resize your screen to be able to work, or just to be able to like zoom in and zoom out and stuff. But then it's gonna be, or what we need to do actually is we need to resize, like when we resize the screen, we need to like have it, yeah, basically we need to have a resize when you resize the screen. When the screen is resized, which if I change the screen width, then if I get, like I'm doing get screen width here, right? I go for screen dot width. Does this change? can I go? I'm sure there's just like a CSS property I can do for this, but yeah. So it says that right now, but then if I zoom in, it changes. Okay. So we could either do it. I'll look into that later. That's not what I'm trying to do on stream right now. Um, that's getting too hung up on like specific details for right now. But in the future, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm either gonna use that or I'm gonna look first to see if I can just easily do it with just like the CSS or something. But if not, then that screen width variable is there to play with. Um, I can change that like when the screen is resized, or I can check if that's changed like periodically or something. Um, where I can check if you've pressed the plus or minus keys, right? And then check when you do that if the screen was resized. So that's something. Um, so okay, so we have these operations. Were there any more operations here? Yeah, I think that's it. Well, I think there's a. Hold on. What else is here as far as key operations? We did copy color. We put that on there. Um, undo and redo. We put that on there. Adjust saturation. We put that on there. Animations. We put on there. Opacity. We put that on there. Hue shifting. We put that on there. Selecting. We put that on there. The deselect and select all. Raising and lowering. We put on there. Brightening and darkening. We put on there. Mirroring. We put on there. Scaling. We put on there. Rotating. We put on there. Deleting. We put on there. Duplicating. We put on there. So that's all for key operations. So then basically we want to just put some instructions about the encoding and the decoding stuff, right? Um, let's make double check I don't miss anything. Anyway, we're gonna test it in a little bit, and I'll just keep checking as I'm doing things that we didn't miss any keys. I'm pretty sure we didn't though. I think that's everything. And then we've got uh, for um, this part, what we need to do is we need to say encoding click encode to generate an encoded data string that can be used to reload the image in the editor. It's like I wish people wouldn't send me such annoying notifications sometimes. It will be output in the text area. It's below the button, right? Or no, above the button. Text area above the button. Enter the encoded string into the same text area and click decode to load an image from its encoded string. If you export the SVG as a file, via the export SVG button, the encoded string can still be retrieved by opening the SVG in Notepad or another text editor. Okay, I think that's all of it that we need to do right now. That's pretty much everything that I want to put in the instructions, I think, for now. Alright. Perfect. Like that ends up being just the right amount of size too. Um, so yeah, those are all of our instructions. So let's mess with this a bit. Take a picture. This, oh, maybe I should put that on here. At least for now, just say may have to click upload twice. Okay. So people aren't like, don't try it and then be like, hey, like click it once and be like, hey, it doesn't work. So yeah, it works. Just click it one more time. Um, which you shouldn't have to worry about that from a user experience point of view. That's actually a really bad thing. Um, but I just haven't fixed that yet. Um, so yeah, may have to click upload twice. Um, is that in there? Oh, that is in there. Interesting. Okay. Oh, weird. Now when I zoom in, it's. Oh, but I'm not. Oh, you know what? It is keeping the whole image on here. It's just right at the border there. So say I want to do this. Let me trace out this hourglass figure here. Yeah, that actually looks pretty cool. Whoa. Undo, undo. That was weird. I don't know why that didn't register my clicks for a second. I should. I'm like making this way too complicated. Like the shape's not gonna come out the way I want, and there's not gonna be any way to like edit it because I haven't implemented that. I could hit undo for every point back up to 40 of them. Like if I wanted to undo until like a certain point, but like if I plot like a million points here and then I don't like the result, I'm not gonna be very. This is gonna suck. I should do this like leg by leg or something, probably, right? Or I don't know. We could just. This is gonna be like the right half or something. Maybe we could just copy it, right? So we got that, and then again we can just copy the color here. Then we have that, right? And if I wanted to duplicate it and then rotate it on the or the X there, we could line that up, lower that back, something like that. So another thing I might want to do as far as is for like usability, what would really help is like because sometimes when you got something really small like that, you don't want to translate by quite as much. Maybe I could do it like maybe I could make like an edit speed um, attribute or something, or an edit speed variable or something. Have that be adjustable from the editor, right? I guess what you can always do is just like scale it up and then um, after you scale it up, just like, oh shit, that wasn't good. When it scaled it, it didn't resize it the way I wanted it to. Why did that happen? I don't know why I did that. That's bizarre. Oh, it's because okay. So I need to stop doing the whole. I really need to just. I'm no longer are we using the CSS properties for anything other than animation, the transform. We're taking that off, and we're just editing the points. Is how we're gonna do that from now on. Um, that's how we're gonna do that. Right? We can like darken it a bit. All right, yeah. That's the problem is is doing something. It's not applying it with the transform properly. So I'm just gonna we're just gonna edit the points from now on. We're gonna get rid of. So that's gonna be a to do for me. To do. Include it in the script tag here. Go to do. Um, Stop using CSS transform property for anything on the polygons aside from animations. So we're going to go through and edit all that. So that's going to be a to-do for us. That's going to be a big one. Or we're going to be removing a lot of stuff when we do that. And then we're going to make this a multi-line. Then we're going to say configurable edit speed from editor. Undo that. Okay. So a way around that is our other transformations do apply things first. So if we like if we do that first, then we should be able to scale it, right? Yeah, without any problem. If we like rotate it a little bit, then we can just rotate it back. That's a way around the problem for now. But it's not an ideal solution. Well, we can just okay, so then there's bug with the undo. Oh, well, we knew that. We knew that was a problem. So that's another one. Let's put it on the, there. Have shapes or have shapes array reflect I'm starting to wonder like the shapes, that shapes array, like if we're gonna just have it be basically the DOM, then why don't we why even have it? Why not just do select all from the DOM every time we need to do anything with anything? Like just go like main node dot select all polygons. That might have been a design flaw in the way I decided to do this. Well, I mean, it's still small enough, I guess, that I could go through and fix all of that if I want to. It's just gonna be a pain. I'm definitely not doing that on stream. Um, so have shapes array reflect um, the layer of objects on DOM. Well, the thing about shapes is I might end up doing other types of shapes in there too, like ultimately, but that's going to change the encoded string quite a lot, or that's going to be a lot more data, which we could end up just doing like turning the encoded string from like a hex string to being like a base 64 encoded string if we wanted to do that. If we wanted to make it so we could have all different types of shapes, but that's going to be a whole other. That's going to be a big thing if I end up doing that. Um, that's not a high priority thing for the moment, based on the direction I'm taking this for now. The high priority thing is more important that I get the layering thing to stop doing that. So undos and other operations um, don't change layers. Right? But yeah. So maybe it's a good thing to have the shapes array for like in case I do want to scale the application in that direction. Then again, if I wanted to do that, I could also just use D3 and like add an ID. Well, no, because we're doing specific IDs for every shape, and we're actually using those in some cases. So we couldn't necessarily. Well, we could class it. Like if we wanted to we could just if we wanted all of our shapes to be under we could put it all under like a particular class and then just do d3 dot select all by the class. That works. Or that could be how we might end up doing things that way if it ends up seeming like that might be better. But actually, I don't know. Because then we have to go through and reselect everything, and then that's making a new D3 selection object for every single one. It might be faster and it might be more efficient the way we're doing it right now, actually, by holding on to the shapes array. Right, because we know that we're going to keep a reference to this and we're going to use it a lot. So, so I don't know. Maybe we should leave it that way. Um, yeah, we don't want to have to do like dot select all by class like a whole bunch of different times, and then like that's gonna like yeah. No, I think we're good with this. This is good. Um, the only thing is that would make it easier to like not have to worry about reflecting the same order as the DOM every time. So basically, when we remove something and re-add it, um, anytime we do that, we need to change its order in the shapes array so that it reflects what is going to be on the DOM, which isn't that won't be that hard anyway. It's not that much of anything to worry about. Um, we still have a point here. Is that raising? Did that just raise the thing over the point? It did. Okay. We need to fix that too. I guess I should have seen that coming. That actually makes perfect sense that would do that, but it's not intended behavior. After raise polygons, um, anytime you raise a polygon, raise the points. So they stay on the top. Edit speed. I think edit speed, we really do want to do edit speed because we might really want to like not translate that by much. So we could have like a little drop down box or something, right? Just have a little drop down box and like depending on what the edit speed is, when we do uh, translate, we'll do it instead of doing it by so we're doing a dot up. Okay, yeah, that's gonna be. So basically, we're gonna change this so that we're not doing that way anymore, and we're just directly editing the points. Because mixing the CSS properties with our own custom transformations on the points, mixing those around with each other seems to cause some weirdness. Especially like the main thing is like I don't think there's a way on CSS through the CSS properties that we can scale relative to like a center point of a. Well, actually, no. We could. There might be a way that like I might just not be well versed enough with the CSS transform stuff. But then again, the big problem was that when we tried to rotate something and then rotate it around another origin, it was giving us behavior that I couldn't quite figure out, and that's not something that we want. Um, it's better like when I know like how it works on the back end, like when I have my own function for it, like I can just look at it and then figure out why it's doing something. With the CSS transform thing, unless I don't know, maybe that's public somewhere. Maybe I can see exactly how it works and then understand. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I'll go look into that and see if I can get that to work. But yeah, um, basically, as far as edit speed goes, right now it's 4, right? So we can make it configurable from anything from 1 to like 8, right? Because like sometimes you might want to move something faster than this, right? Maybe as much as like twice as fast, right? Especially like say we're all the way zoomed out here. Like if we needed to move something from here all the way to the top left, we have to like do it like that. Unless I end up implementing that grab thing that I was thinking about doing with the mouse. That could help move things faster too. But also edit speed would just work, right? If I just made like a little drop down, edit speed, anything from like um, maybe even like 1 to 16 or something, right? We could like do like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then from there like increase it by twos until like it's 16. And then I don't know. Either that or you could adjust the edit speed with a key. But then that like as far as usability goes, I could see someone like accidentally pressing a button and then changing the edit speed and then not understanding why everything is going faster now and then like that being annoying from a usability perspective. It'd probably be better to have it as a drop down here, like edit speed, right? I think. I think that's probably, I don't know. It's probably what we're going to want to end up doing. I can't seem to get these to go on top of each other without like overlapping too much. And that's, again, that's an edit speed issue. Because it, or it's, I guess, no, zooming out's not going to fix, it's not going to make this any better. What we have to do is we have to undo, relayer, translate first, or rotate first, and then do that. See, that's what happens when we apply the translation first. So we need to end up doing that for all the time. So we want these to be layered over each other. But as we're scaling that, it seems to be coming apart. When we scale it down. I'm not sure why that would be doing that. Because it should be scaling toward the center point. So why would this stuff come, why would it come apart like that a little bit? Why could we be coming apart right there? Because we're making our origin point from all of the points that we have from all of our selected shapes. and we're scaling it toward that origin point. So why would it be coming apart? Why would that come apart when you scale it down? Is it just just a little inaccuracy on the floating points? Like that getting, because we're rounding it down. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we're rounding it down. Since we're rounding it down, it might not be like perfectly accurate. And it's going to always be slightly less than what the accurate value would be because we're rounding it down. So then it ends up not scaling toward the center quite as much as it needs to, right? So maybe just on export, we won't do any of this rounding stuff until we export it. See if not rounding anything um, except on export solves um, scaling down, coming apart issue. Okay, got a few things now, a few ideas here. So yeah, especially when you're dealing with something small like that, like not having like an adjustable edit speed um, makes it kind of hard to deal with like these tiny objects, right? Like that's something we need to do, we need to fix. We need to fix that so that we can position things more easily. And then we can't, is like makes it the fact that the fact that that scaling thing is slightly off in terms of like it starts to come apart a little bit when you scale it down. It also kind of makes it impossible to get around it by scaling things up and then adjusting it also. But anyway, this thing looks okay. So if we do something like that, and then duplicate, and then let's see, what if we wanted a darker spider? We could go um, darken all of these colors at once, right? Look at that. And then what if we wanted to hue shift the spiders a little bit? Duplicate. Have these be like, we got some dancing spiders here. Hue shift that so we have a different, no. Oh, what am I doing? I'm doing the animation. We also, if we have a smaller object, we might not want to make that highlight as prominent. That highlight we probably don't want to be as prominent. If if we have a tinier object. So just stroke width of select highlight depending on size of object. Right. So the really tiny stuff. So that way we could like even if we have something selected, we can sort of still see the color. That's the problem I'm running into right now is it's hard for me to see the color until I deselect and then reselect it. Okay, that's another thing. There's something weird going on with the undos and the redos. Or actually, I don't know. Is that like the way that we have it? That's the way we have it written, though, isn't it? The only thing, I think the only problem that I want to see after fixing layering issue. Check if undo redo is behaving as expected. So right now, I mean, it's still like we still have a redo history from like the redos we did before, which we probably don't need that. It's like every time we undo something, we push it to the redo history, and then like if we redo a couple things that we just undid, but then hit redo one too many times, then it'll go way back in the history to like a redo that was like forever ago. So like when we do an operation, like as we only want to keep adding to the redo history as long as we're doing undos, right? And then as soon as we do another operation, we want to clear the redo history, I believe. So that we don't end up like if we hit redos one too many times, we don't end up going like way back in the history to something that was like forever ago. So we want to clear the redo history when after we do something after the undo, right? Once we've done something, well, though, then if we end up wanting to undo that and then redo stuff, or if we end up wanting to undo that and then undo more than the undos that we just did. Like, for example, like we do something, right? And then we decide, like, for example, translate it over here and then translate it down here. And I want to undo that, undo that. But then I want to do this. Say I want to undo that also. But then I want to undo making the shape. Well, that works. That's working. So I don't know. Maybe it's working as the way we want it to. Oh, but redo. We're not testing redo. So that's weird. Like, why is it doing that? Oh, you know what? Well, no. That should. Okay. Well, anyway, I've got that as an item anyway. Check to see if redo is behaving the way we need it to be. Right now, it seems like it's not actually either way. And it seems like it's not doing like it sort of works, but then like after like a few redos, like I think it's when we run out of the history or something. We end up like we end up doing getting like some weird stuff. So I want to like take a look at that, like be print. I want to do some testing, like just logging the undo and the redo history as I'm doing stuff, and then see what's happening to it in like real time. Um, so we'll end up doing that. Oh shit. The layering on that got messed up. So yeah, definitely we need to do that. We need to fix the layering issue. We need to check the redo stuff. We want to stop using Either, okay, so I'm gonna look into the CSS transforms and see if there is a, let me put that down here too. Look into CSS transforms and see if the source code is public. Duplicate that. Oh, another thing we need to fix, which we haven't fixed yet, is when I mirror on the X like that. Um, like when I mirror on the X and I have multiple things selected, that doesn't seem to be behaving the way we want it to. Well, obviously it's not behaving the way we want it to. Right, like even if I scale this down, this actually doesn't look too bad. See, when I hit undo, it's messing up all the layers. And that's because we're running through shapes, and shapes is not um, in the same order as the things are in the DOM because we've raised and lowered things, and we haven't adjusted that in shapes. But yeah, anyway, we already talked about that. Okay, that works for fixing that though. I don't know. Let's see what happens if we do this. All these. That's kind of cool. Like some spider rave party. It's not the right amount of legs. I'm aware of that. The guy, I think he is missing a leg though, isn't he? I took this in my backyard, by the way, a while back. This is a brown widow spider. So similar to the black widow, but less poisonous. The poison doesn't spread as much. Um, and they one defining characteristic is they have very spiky egg sacs. I saw plenty of them. There was a lot of those spiky egg sacs in my backyard. But it's pretty cool looking, right? That's why I put it under a glass and took a picture of it. Um, and we have the same issues flipping on the Y, right? Or what? Oh, no. No, it doesn't work. I was going to say it almost seemed like it was working almost like as expected when flipping on the Y, but then no, not quite. It's not quite doing what we expect or what we want when we have multiple things selected like that. So we wanna fix that as well. But I mean, well, yeah, flipping it, scaling it on the Y, um, so that it's flipped over is not the same transformation as rotating it around so that he's upside down, but it is similar-ish. So we can sort of do, that's kind of what I'm going for, is we can take these pulsating spider boys. I'm actually going to scale these down a little bit too. Put them like over here. Alright. And then we're going to take you, duplicate you, move you all over. But I don't want these to have the same, to be on the same pulse as those guys. I want it to be slightly different. So I'm going to turn the hue off, or the hue shift animation off, and then I'm going to manually push the hue a bit and then turn it back on. And deselect that. So now they're pulsing at a different rate there. And then we'll just take all of this, duplicate that, move it over, rotate it around. And do that a couple times. All right. Then I'll export this. We'll call this Spider Rave Party. Very cool. Yeah, like that. Another thing we could do, apply the rotate. And then we've got spin in there. So, oh, another thing I want to do then, um, add button to remove background image and bring back alpha grid. let's call this spider rave in motion. All right, that's a little nauseating. But interesting nonetheless. Um, Another thing I might want to do the. I mean, we could do like adding a background color and then have that export. We probably should do that. The only thing is, I mean, if we wanted to do that, it wouldn't be that hard. Like, all we really need to do to get like, well, what if you want it to be the entire SVG though? Yeah, we should do that. I guess we could maybe do it, make it like the same as selected or something, or like we could make it so that we could copy it or something too if we want to. But I guess we'll to start with we'll just have it prompt you for like a for an RGB or like a hex value. Um, Another animation that might be cool would be a growing and shrinking. That might be a good. But then again, then if we did that, we couldn't just use one bit, or I mean, not one bit. We couldn't just use a number like 0 through 7 to define all the animations because we'd have more than 3 animations. So we'd have to use like a hex bit, and then at that point, we're already using those other hex bits as like separators. I should stop this. That's gonna give a that's giving me nausea. Um, so what way could we? Well, what we could do is we could just have it be like um, if the string is longer than one character, that means we have more animations, right? So the first one will just define the first 3 animations. The second one will define like the next 3 and then the next 3. Sort of like the read write executable thing, right? When you do chmod or whatever. So we could have the first one be um, yeah. So then we could define at least another 2 and we like just with 2 digits or with 3 digits we could do 3 animation or another like another 6 animations. So maybe like I think a growing and shrinking, like just scaling it up by a little bit and then shrinking it by a bit. I think that'd be a cool animation to define. Right? Oh, well, also what we have to do is add animations to the export ID code, right? Because right now when you load that ID in, it doesn't have the animations applied to it already. It's just ignoring the animation right now. Um, which if you have different animations on different things, like you probably want those um, included on export, right? Or if we want to reload it in the editor so you can play with it some more, like you probably want to like have your animations already like applied to the things you want to apply it to. So you can say add animations to export um, uh, encoded string. And then potentially add new grow shrink animation. But then again, I gotta think about then which, because we're gonna actually start running out of letter keys. We still have some letter keys we haven't used, but we are starting to use a lot of them. But I don't know. We could always end up just doing like if we want to define other things like the mouse grab thing with G, because right now G is doing the rotate, then like maybe we could just make the animations like shift and then like some of these letters like shift G. But anyway, that should be cool. Um, so let's do a little more playing with this. I still have that picture that we were looking at before, in the cage face. So let's try that. Let's go. Um, let's see what his face looks like covered with spiders. There. Upload. We'll go from desktop. There we go. Yeah, the spider rave party on Nicolas Cage's face. Uh, select all that and really get it up on there. There you go. Alright. So let's remove that. And zoom in here. So what we can do is sort of trace the outline here. I don't know why I'm including the hair in this part, but I already started doing it. Well, I guess what I can do is I can just go undo, 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 right? So that's good. It's a good use case for that as well. I'm not really trying that. I'm just trying to outline the shape of where the main like color here is. Alright, I like pink. But I can take that and I can actually get the color from like his neck here. Right. And then if I want to trace out the eyes, just lower the transparency on that. Okay. And we can go something like that. Alright. Duplicate that. flip it on the X, and it should be about the same size as his other eye. And another thing we can do. Oh, you know what would be good is if we had a button to hide something. Or no, because I just want to be able to like remove this, select a color, and then remake it really quick. Well, yeah, no, we could do that. We could go like, we could have like a toggle hide, and like just add it to like a hidden, and then that way, yeah. So like if we want to hide something, like we could hide something, um, and then, um, for example, like what I would want to do right now is like hide the main part of the face, and then trace out like the shape of the shadow, and then um, and then press something to bring back all the hidden elements, right? So like we could easily just like hide something to get like at the background image underneath it, um, and then unhide. Because right now I could change the opacity, and then when we hide it, we're just actually going to remove it, but we're going to keep a reference to it so that we can bring it back easily. We're basically going to do like what we do for the undo history, just like store some strings with all the data on it so that we can just like take it away and then bring it back. But as of right now, what we can do, it's not that, but what we can do is we can just shift that over and then shift it back when we're done. Um, so we have like the shadow here. Something like this. Alright. Alright. That kind of work. I feel like a shadow, kind of. Why does it do both of these or lower the opacity on both? Oh, I see. I can't even see that now. Okay, that's another thing we need to fix. Cap opacity at 1 so that we don't have, that's a usability issue. Cap opacity at 1. So that kind of works, right? Almost. There. Okay. Mm. So we want to just keep tracing out the face here. Make a couple more of these shadows. Let's do the lips. For some reason, sometimes it seems like a click doesn't register for some reason. I said for some reason twice. There. I'm going off of the lip. It's hard to tell where the lip begins and where the lip ends here. The ridge of it is like right here. Why do these points seem like a slightly different color? Is it just me? Okay. But we could actually just get the color, the actual color. Like, let's, well, there we go, something like that. Right. Is that the right color, you think? Ah. This color. There we go. Maybe something like that more. There we go. That seems more like a lip color, right? And then we want to get the shape of the other lip. It's a lot thinner. Just copy this one. Whoa! Not what I wanted to do. Undo. Undo that. I didn't know I had that selected still, and I didn't mean to hit X. I'm going to hit C here. There we go. It's a little jaggy. So as far as the points edit, I don't know how exactly I want to do that. Because when we edit the points, it matters what order the points are in, right? So when I bring it back up, do I want it to like have the numbers? And do I want you to be able to renumber them? Or just add or remove? But yeah, you need to be able to renumber them if I want to do like a point editing thing. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I want to do that. You do like the inner part of the lip here. Pink that. Okay, so edit speed again. Something that we wanna do. Let me just make that a little bit bigger. Make this a little bit bigger as well. Alright. Maybe we just bring this down a little bit. What are we looking at? If we raise the opacity back up. Interesting. I guess we could just make the inside of that white. Oops, not black, white, but we can just brighten that until it's white. looks a little interesting. Maybe we need to do, what we need to do is decrease the saturation on this a little bit. Actually, I didn't even get the color here for that. So here, let's just select, let's actually just go select all. Select all, move it all over. Deselect, take this, and then get the inner lip here. There we go. Oh yeah. That kind of works, right? Oh. And then we should, just in case, like for some reason this gets refreshed or something, we should maybe like periodically export. Right? Mm. Because we can get the ID, the encoded string from inside of the SVG, and then re-upload it that way. If for some reason this page got closed on accident or something. So lower that back down again. I want to get some of the shadows here. So we have like a little bit of a ridge. We have the nose. Okay, I just clicked 3 times. Weird. I don't know why that's like just randomly sometimes it seems like it just doesn't register the click. Do like a shadow right here for the nose. Like what is that? Why? Oh! Now I know why I did, because the transparency layer is on top now because I did undo and then it paints everything. So yeah, the layer thing with undo is something that I need to fix, especially right here. You can see that's an issue. It just relayered that because it's doing it based off of the order in the shapes array. Okay, I'm gonna figure out why that's happening. It's going to be an important little bit for me. Okay, and we'll do this, and we'll make this black, and we're gonna take this, raise the transparency back up on it, and layer this back down, layer this below that, and then we're going to lower the opacity on that as well, but not as much as the other shadow, because this is a darker shadow. This is right. Something more like that. Alright. Got another shadow here. That's just gonna be like the ridge. This one's gonna be pretty dark. That looks pretty good. We've got another shadow here that's a little lighter. See, edit speed again, especially for translating. That's going to be a big thing. I want to make this lighter anyway. Problem is where they overlap, we get that little weird like dark thing. We kind of want to make this like way lighter, right? I want to go like that. Alright. Well, the thing is, this shadow here we can probably just duplicate. And this should work, I think. If we line this up. Hold on a second. Let me get that. Like something like that maybe. Almost. Lighten this up a little bit. But right? I mean, it kind of works. Could we shrink these a little bit? Got like kind of more of a shape of a nose there. Alright. You shift that to also green. And darken it. saturation a little bit. Darken. Yeah. Seems right. Edit speed. We need to fix. We need to do something with that. Actually, we do probably want to have a little bit of an opacity there. So we can't quite center this on there to the point where it's not slightly outside of the eye, which is because we don't have the edit speed. So that's going to be a big, like I'm seeing right now, that's something that we really want to prioritize is getting that the edit speed. I could do like a shortcut for that, like what they do in Blender, is I could hold Shift and then the arrow keys to like edit with like a lower edit speed. But I think I might want to make it like configurable too, because you might not want to just like lower it by like half. You might want to make it, or like have it be like one. Right now it's four. I mean, I guess you never really need to move things that drastically, that fast. I could probably get away with just doing like lowering it to one, and then when you're holding down Shift, like editing, like and then it translates pixel by pixel. Hmm. Maybe. Maybe we'll end up doing that. One thing I could do for now maybe is just scale up the eyes a little bit. Just a little bit. Which also seem to move that further apart a little bit. Which I guess makes sense if it's... Well... Actually, I don't know. Does that make... Oh, you know what? We've got the thing here, right? Where if we just do this and then do it, because we need to do the applying the translation first, right? We need to fix that. Oh, but that's still kind of, well, no, that worked better, I think. It's hard to tell exactly because it's such a small, like it's very slight. Can I move this down without? No, it moves wave like that's. Well, actually, that's the select thing as well. No, it's far down. It's pretty far down there. rescale it up one more time here. This is just a, obviously we don't want this to be a permanent, like this is not a solution to the problem. It's just what I'm doing right now because I haven't fixed what I need to fix. Okay, and then we can move this in. A little bit. Here's the opacity. Duplicate that, move it over. The eyes are a little wonky. But, you know, edit speed, right? We'll fix a lot of that stuff. We'll maybe be able to make more adjustments. When I did the undo, it reordered. So we need to fix that. Oh, I know what's happening. We need to bring this behind it as well. So now we can deselect that. Alright. And then just some eyebrows. Let me export again. Oh, I did a dash last time. Oops. Oh well. It's actually looking interesting. Alright. So let's get the brows. Let me take this for a second. Well, they're just kind of like black, huh? I don't really want them to be. How about we not do this? Ugh, undo. Did the relayering again. Gotta fix that once more. Select everything. Let's move it over. choppy brow color until I like it. There, that looks good. Right. Maybe I could lower the opacity on that just a bit. Duplicate that. Try that over here as well. Yeah. That's starting to look like a face, right? It's starting to look like Nick Cage's face. Like a little bit at least. And what we can do is do the hair here. Oh. Right. And again, anytime I undo, I've got to remember it's going to do that. I'm purposely trying to overlap a little bit because I don't want the opposite. I don't want there to be a gap. It's more important that there's not a gap than if it overlaps a little bit. And I could maybe do like a blue transparency for these little blue highlights on the top there where the light hits his hair. Okay, I'm going to stop it right here because of the shadow. should probably have like a brown default color. Huh? That looks good. Look at that. Alright. And then like say I I close the window, right? Then I could go spider rave party. And I could go ahead and just go like inspect, get this ID here. And maybe I shouldn't put ID, maybe I should just keep it. Because then I end up having to go like copy it in here and then edit it. Okay, this is something I can't seem to figure out either. Why sometimes I'll get like a space in there. I'm not sure why that happens. But apparently that space is not actually there. Which is confusing. You see the ID is actually not crazy long for this one. I mean, hopefully it worked correctly. And that's actually the whole thing. Well, we could paste it in here and go decode, and then we have it. The whole thing we just made. It actually looks good too. Yeah, nothing's... did that eye shift a little bit? No, that's just where it was. Alright. Because the one thing I know that I'm, mm, I'm truncating all the values when I export so they're integers. See, what does this look like? Take you and then apply like a hue shift. It's interesting, right? Rotate them. Oh, I'm not selecting them. Swap it back and forth. Bum, 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 bum. What if I wanted to do you in the midst of Oh, but the thing is, I haven't added the animations to the encoded string yet. So if I go ahead and I get my put in here, that's still on my downloads. I can take that. Grab this part. It's actually easier if I do it on the inspect. I should have just opened it normally and then inspected it. In fact, I'm just gonna do that. It's way easier just to go, just to right click and go inspect. And then get it from here. And then paste it in the text editor. Oh, right, but I don't know why that does that on, I guess it's just too long for Microsoft Edge. So we gotta open it and, we gotta open it in, Firefox. Let's copy that. Take that in there. Cut off the um, cut off that and cut off this. Control A, select all, copy. Paste it in there. Now we got those. Let me actually. So the grouping thing, maybe I should do the grouping thing so I could group that all as one element. So maybe like, okay, so J, what I could do is I could click J, press J, and then group everything together as one element. And then if we hit K, we could ungroup it. Maybe. Because I want to just be able to click on the cage back there and then like have it select all of them. And then also, what we might want to do is on import, when we hit decode, we might want to add everything that we just did to the selected, like have it just be selected by default. That way I could just uh, simultaneously move everything that we just put in, right? So then on decode, have everything being added be selected by default. And then we'll, like, if you want to deselect it, you can deselect it. Because that way I could do something like um, select the spiders and put it behind Nick Cage. We've got it all rotating. Again, that's kind of nausea-inducing. You shift it. This one's Nick Cage Spider Rave Party. Flash. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry. Should have said something about photosensitivity before I did that. And probably also this, because the changing colors could be like they're moving a little fast. It could be a little bit much. All right, cool. I mean, like proof of concept, right? Um, it's a like it's not perfect by any means yet. It's there's still a number of things I need to fix, still a number of usability issues I need to solve. Um, but uh, but I think like it's pretty evident that the tools that are here are useful for a number of functions, and it can create something interesting. Um, like fairly easily. You don't have to have a whole lot of art skills to trace out the shapes with points and then just select the colors from the reference image. Um, and yeah, like animate stuff, SVGs. Other things we might want to do. Might want to do like an export as PNG. If it's animated, maybe we could turn it into a GIF. Yeah, and I need to add the things to the encoded string. Um, but I don't know. We'll see. In any case, I think that's all I'm gonna do on this stream at the moment. Um, thank you, anybody that might have tuned in, and see you all next time.